there's just the set amount of climbs in the database, and there will always be there. And so I can like go back and send like 2-year-old projects that I wasn't strong enough a long time ago for, and now I am, which I think is really cool. Yeah, it's kind of changed throughout my climbing. When I started climbing, was my whole goal, was just comps. And I think the longer I climb, the more psyched I am on probably just like outside stuff, outside bouldering. But I still love comps, and I'll do comps as long as I can. And then I got really strong and stopped slab climbing, and now I'm terrible at it.
Welcome back, everybody, to yet another Betabreak. This time, Tyler and I introduced Tyler on time this time. We brought back with us Sean Houchens-McCollum, all the way back from the Midwest to join us for this Betabreak. He is a crusher. I mean, I know a lot of you already know who he is based on the Board Lords episode. How about, Sean, you give yourself a quick introduction, everybody, and then we'll hop right into it.
Yeah, my name is Sean. I've been climbing for like 13 years now. And all I do is I climb on boards. My gym has a tension board. That's what I do like every day, basically.
And he says he only climbs on boards, but like I actually became aware of Sean at the first Final Frontiers competition, which is Final Frontier. There's no S at the end. Final Frontier competition, where he came in second place to Simon Hippler, but then get to see him again, crushing it, and this time actually ending up on the top of the podium. And this is 3 years in the making, right? Getting on top of the podium.
Yeah, third year of this comp, yeah.
Yeah, so even though he is crushing it on the boards, he has lots and lots of capabilities, outside of the climb. And that was actually always, for me, a question, is like, how well does it translate over? And I know lots of people who love the board, and as Tyler will tell you, I am not a big fan of the board. And for the reason is not because I hate boards. I just hate how well I perform on boards, or how well I don't perform on boards. Knowing it's a great training tool, and I need to get on, and I have been getting on the boards a lot. And it's just really interesting to see and understand, like for those of you out here who are like intimidated, you actually started off not liking boards, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, no, I hated boards when I first started climbing on them.
Yeah, and it's like, what was the journey on that? So you hated boards, and like, where were you introduced to boards, and then like, how did you just essentially develop this love? Because I want a little bit of that. Like, I want to be able to love boards like all the crushers out there.
Yeah, I guess probably half the reason I didn't like boards like at first is because the gym I climbed at back then only had tension board 1, which now I love. I don't think it's the most beginner friendly board at all. I wasn't really a beginner anyway, but hard to start climbing on tension board 1 and really like it from the get-go. But the more I climbed on it, I really just like that there's just the set amount of climbs in the database, and there will always be there. And so I can like go back and send like 2-year-old projects that I wasn't strong enough a long time ago for, and now I am, which I think is really cool. I think a big reason of why I like boards a lot more now, and now I climb on tension board 2 a lot, which I think is a lot better than tension board 1, just because the holds, there's a lot more variety. I can go a lot steeper, the plastic and wood. I think everything about tension board 2 is really, really nice.
I think we can get a sense of it from your Board Lords episode, but do you have a preference between the symmetrical and the spray? Just like if you could only have one?
Honestly, I don't know. I've only climbed on spray like 3 times. So I need to climb on spray a lot more to actually have an opinion. Right now, I'd probably say I'd rather prefer the mirror, only because there's more climbs on the mirror layout. But other than that, I don't really know which layout I think like climbs better.
Symmetrical is what I thought I would like better. And then every time I've gotten to get on the spray, it feels a bit more balanced in terms of the how much of the board you have access to. So that's, I'll just throw in my little...
I think the thing I like about the spray, having climbed on it only a couple times, is that on the mirror layout, all of the holds, or at least most of them, are either oriented like up and down or side to side or just 45 degrees. And on the spray layout, there's a lot more like small differences in the orientations. And I think it creates some more interesting movement probably.
And so like, I don't actually have access to tension boards. I'm not saying I'm stuck, but I have access to my gym to Decoy.
The Decoy board.
Decoy board, which whipped my ass. And so I've heard that you've been at the top of that detention leaderboard for quite some time. Well, not the very top, but like in top contenders, performers. Are you still crushing it and waiting for people to catch up to you?
Yeah, I right now I'm still number one on the leaderboard,
Okay.
which I don't think means a whole lot because really there's only like a few people that have actually spent time to do like every single like V4 classic that they have on the app. So like I don't know. I don't think it means a whole lot, but I am number one on the leaderboard.
There you go.
But right now there's like 670 classics on the app maybe, and I've done all but one of them.
That's pretty sick. And that 1v3 just keeps you off. I don't get it.
Yeah. The 1v3 is just I just can't reach it. It's just too far.
Yeah, I would say like my question that was kind of because you suggested it, and I'm pretty sure watching you during qualifiers on both rounds of Final Frontier. Did you actually go back and grind on those two climbs from the Born Lords episode and then send those?
A little bit. The one on the spray layout, I haven't tried since I don't have a spray. I really wish I could because I love that climb. It's super cool, and I wish I could project it. The one on the mirror layout, I tried a little bit, and that's the one that I still haven't done. The moves are just so far. Technically I can reach them, but getting from position to position is just like it feels crazy.
Yeah, I was looking, saying he's really stretched out, and it was interesting, even in the short amount of time, how you were already coming up with techniques or methods to start linking those moves, which was really cool. You're like, we're gonna make it happen. It's doable. So that's the remaining one, and that's the All right, cool, nice.
Yes, we brought you here to mostly talk about a comp, but obviously we spent the first 10 minutes talking over your love for boards, and I think we'll circle back to it. Yeah. But if we can spend a little bit of time on comp climbing, because I think it's interesting. You're known for your love of boards. You're known as like the #1 tension board climber. You've been on a Board Lords episode. Where does competition like fit into your psyche? Is it just like a fun thing you like to do once in a while? Would you say that you're motivated with comp performance? Where does that land in your head?
Yeah, it's kind of changed throughout my climbing. When I started climbing, was my whole goal was just comps. And I think the longer I climb, the more psyched I am on probably just like outside stuff, outside bouldering. But I still love comps, and I'll do comps as long as I can. I don't know if that will be like continuing to do these random local comps like Frontier or like USA Climate stuff. I probably want to try that eventually. I don't know, but yeah, I still love comps, but not like my main focus.
Yeah, because you're a team kid, right? That's where you started.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of gravitated towards the board, which is really, really interesting. Yeah.
If we can zoom in on Final Frontier, so I know this is the third time doing that comp for you, but we'll focus in on the third, and then feel free to reference the other two. And as you're talking, don't be afraid to reference specific things, because Basim will go through and painstakingly edit in a bunch of clips. So
not the first one though. So
right,
the last two. So
all right.
Yeah. So, the more we talk about it, the more work he has to do. I just talk and then I'll leave. Going back to qualifiers, just focusing on Final Frontier. So this is the Final Frontier.
But it actually is only listed as the second. I guess the
Final Frontier 2, but the third time they've like run this comp there.
Okay, I had no clue.
I was half asking you, but that was just my assumption. But so Final Frontier 2, if you can take us back to the qualifying round, how was the qualifying round? Any standout boulders or moments from the round for you?
Setting wise, I thought it was incredible. Everything I got on, to be fair, I only tried 6 boulders in qualifiers, but all 6 of them were super well set and super fun. Some standout ones, I guess, were the second hardest one was, in my opinion, by far the hardest. And I think Pierre and Simon thought so too, because all 3 of us topped the hardest one. Simon flashed it. I took 2 tries, and I didn't think it was too bad. And then I tried the second hardest one, and that one felt crazy. I have no clue what they wanted, but it was really cool, but really hard.
The red one, right?
Yeah, red one. Mm-hmm. The slab one was really cool. That one was making me really mad because I think I took 10 tries on that one, and it wasn't that hard actually. I kept trying to stand on the very top of this like no-tex foot, and then my friend was like, "Why are you doing that? Just like step lower." And then I stepped lower, and it was so easy.
The like coordinated like jump and then catch on the same.
Yeah.
That was really well said.
I want to save this kind of question. You're able to perform on, let's call it like comp style boulders, despite being somebody
Yeah.
who almost self-described exclusively climbs on boards. Do you think that that is a baseline that you built up through like youth climbing? Do you think that it's like an innate ability that you're able to perform on slab? Like, where does your execution on comp style come from?
Yeah, I guess not necessarily slab, but just like coordination in general. I think I've always been really good at. Definitely just from like my experience on team. But I've always kind of like before I started climbing on boards, my whole thing was like dynos instead. So I just went to the gym and just made up coordination dynos for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then I just left. And I did that like a lot before I started climbing on the boards. And then I think when I started climbing on the boards, I kind of took that style and brought it over to the boards. And so now I kind of do a lot of like really weird, powerful like coordination stuff on boards. So I think I've kept that style to bring it back to comps now.
That tracks. And then when it comes to kind of the more precise slab, is that just like built into you? Like where does that fit in?
Precise slab, like just like old school, like
Yeah,
tiny
yeah,
foot
like
chip.
tiny foot chip and
I'm
yeah.
terrible. I'm so bad at that. So yeah, I don't know. I think actually when I did youth comps, that was probably one of my strengths was kind of weird, slow, delicate slab. Just because I think I wasn't that strong as a youth climber. So I was kind of better at the slabs. And then I got really strong and stopped slab climbing. And now I'm terrible at it.
I think like that precise old school slab just kind of requires reps that in the same way the
It's a
coordination
totally
does,
different.
but yeah, like to your point, I think you can get those like power cordos reps in on the board that you can't really get for old
Yeah.
school slab. Yeah. Okay. That was like a burning question for me. He's like, how does this guy do it?
He does it.
Oh. Yeah, he does. He does a version of it. So yeah, qualifiers obviously went well enough for you, put you into finals. Because we talk about so many comps, we talk about comp format. We had a three-boulder final, which is always controversial. If you were designing your perfect comp, how many boulders would you have in a final?
I always prefer four probably as a climber and a spectator. Just because as a climber, I just want to climb more. I just like more climbing. And I always think a fourth boulder is just more fun to watch too. The more boulders, the better. I don't know if I guess at Frontier they had kind of extra space, so I think they could have done it. So I don't know. I think four is usually better if possible.
I
It creates
really,
more separation.
I really fault the organizers for it. Working
Yeah,
hard enough as it
yeah,
is, like thinking of spacing and safety and crowds, and like it's not their fault. However,
yeah.
would you be psyched on a five boulder round?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I would. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever done a five boulder finals, but I think it would be sick.
Yeah.
Get a like bigger variety of all the styles that could be in a finals.
Yeah. The majority of people that we ask on here kind of fall into that same category of like that would be sick. Why not
Yeah.
just test us on more things?
Yeah.
As somebody who MCs a lot of finals, I don't know if my voice could handle five climbs, but yeah, I think it would be really fun. And I think, yeah, creates more separation, creates more opportunities to test different skills. Comp organizers,
Yeah, for sure.
five boulders.
One of the things I noticed at Final Frontier and a couple of other comps is that they did a 3-boulder round with only 5 finalists per round, which I was like, I mean, we're in a rush to get out of here. I got on, and I thought it was interesting for some of the other gyms that actually brought a lot of really, really strong climbers in. But for the Final Frontier, I can see why they might have done it simply because of the skill gap difference between the top climbers and who else could have potentially made that round. And it was interesting to kind of see that, like in the Midwest, especially at Final Frontier, and especially in the female category, there is a huge difference in the skills between the top 3 females really, and then everyone else behind them. And looking for that to build up more. We gotta get more strong climbers in the Midwest to just even it out, because there are very strong climbers, Sean, Simon, Pierre, and a couple of, but then like it drops off quickly right after that. It's interesting. I don't know if they're just not showing up for these comps, or if it's really just the lack of high level talent out there. But the 5 did make sense, all said and done. But there are other comps I'm like, come on, like you have time. It's only 3 boulders. Let's make this happen. 8 finalists, 6 finalists, like whatever. But I can see for the Final Frontier, it actually did make sense from a logistics standpoint, and also just from an entertainment value, because then they have to set for everyone, which is very difficult when that skill gap becomes that big. Yeah. So sorry, didn't want to interrupt there.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to get into the finals boulders. There's only 3 of them to get into, so we can dive right in. So boulder number 1, big steep pinches with a paddle in the middle that was giving plenty of people trouble. Can you just kind of, I just want to go boulder by boulder, see how you felt about them, how much you enjoyed them. So boulder number 1, how was that for you?
Yeah, boulder 1 was funny. When we all got like route, I think 2 minutes of route preview per boulder before we actually started finals. And in route preview, we all were looking at the zone and we were like, this looks super easy. Get into it. I feel like we're all going to flash get in the zone at least. And then only Simon got to zone at all. That like left-hand pinch right before the zone was just like in a way more awkward spot than it looked, which made it really hard. But normally that move is like just my perfect move. Some like jump into like a double Gaston, like shoulder position. So I thought I would do great on it, but it was really hard.
Yeah, it was just watching you, and I was like, oh, let's get ready, gimbal, get in there for the shot, and then like you went for it, and you even changed up and tried something different, and I was like, wow, like this must be really, really hard, and I think the route setters were kind of biting their nails, thinking they might have tweaked it a little bit, and I actually had the privilege of sitting in on the route setters meeting where they were like, let's turn the black one up a little bit, and they did, like. And I was like, whoa, they turned it up a little bit too much. But it was, and that's like an art form. I keep going back and forth on this, but being a route setter, being able to look at the field, tweak it, and then create that separation without shutting everyone down is really tricky. And I know like we spoke a little bit after the cup and you were like, after climb 1, I thought it was over. You thought it was game over, which is interesting because no one zoned. And Simon got it on his first throw. I think he got it.
And I was told he flashed it.
Yeah, he flashed one, and then he couldn't get the top. And then I don't think he actually was able to get to his zone again. It was like, all of that put into that first attempt, and then it sucked the life out of him. But yeah.
Yeah, your experience is what I assumed from watching it, because I was looking at it like, yeah, that's such a Sean move. And then like watching you go out, I was like, something must be like, there must be some like dual text on it that we can't see or something, like something blocking. But it sounds like it was just like the angle was awkward and the move was doable, but hard in 4 minutes. Is that just one of those cases?
Yeah, the position of the left-hand pinch was just put your wrist in such a weird position to like keep it when you hit the zone hold, which means you either just pinch really hard and keep the thumb, or you could just totally cut the left hand and just one arm catch the zone. So yeah, much harder than I think any of us anticipated.
Keeping it moving to boulder number 2, which was the slab that was making me wonder about how you keep your slab skills sharp, because it was on the more old school slab kind of trend. That one looked really, really clean, and then that last move just looked, the way it was spitting you out made me think that it was bigger than it looked, like that move to the finish. Yeah, what was boulder number 2 like for you?
I'm always like just not excited for the slab whenever I see it because I'm just so bad at it. So I saw that and I was like, well, I don't think I'm getting the zone on this one. But I ended up getting zone and got pretty close to the top, I think. I was really happy with how my slab went. And my first try, I guess back in ISO, I switched like 5 times between if I wanted to go out in my soft shoes or my stiff shoes, and I could not decide. And I ended up deciding to go one of each for my first try because I knew the first half was going to be way better in my stiff shoes and the second half would be way better in my soft shoes. But then I tried it once and realized I don't think I can do the first half in soft shoes. So I switched to my stiff ones and then got the zone next try. And then I wish I could like switch shoes halfway through or something. But the second half got pretty close. I think if I had more time, I could have maybe done it. But I was really happy with it.
I appreciated you doing that because this is like something that a lot of people don't realize that actually happens. Climbers look at the climbs. They say it's coming out. This is a soft shoe climb. They'll come out with a different pair of shoes than they did last time. And people don't see that all the time and notice that. But you actually sat down and said, nope. And you just changed out the shoes right there on the spot. and then, kind of brought attention to the fact that climbers, at your level have that bag of shoes. They have the go-tos for a specific, or they do mismatch. You may miss it when the zoom in on the now word climbing, when they're zooming in on feet. That could be something that they could be talking about, but they don't do that. But the difference in shoes for particular things. And I couldn't believe you didn't get that on the second go, because you dialed that in so well. And it's basically because you didn't have the traction for that little hop, because it is a huge jump. I think it was essentially almost like that jump was a mirror of the female climb from last year on that same spot. And it was huge. But this one was a little bit further out, as opposed to being just up. It was up and over to the right. So there was a big commitment on that. But yeah, I was impressed by the decision, switching shoes, got zone, and then hopped on it. I was pretty clutch.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I've ever done that before. A lot of times I take two different pairs of shoes out just in case, but I don't know if I've ever actually ended up switching, except for that slab.
There you go. Made the decision.
It's pretty sweet. I like when people swap shoes. I was emceeing a comp last weekend where somebody brought the wrong pair of shoes down from ISO. So they just accidentally brought somebody else's shoes. So we gave them time to go grab their own. Same the white Dragos, but just like wrong size. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So impressive slab for a self-professed bad at slab. You're pretty good at slab for what it's worth. I don't know if it's the USAC days just keeping you in the game, but and then boulder number 3 was really cool. I really liked boulder number 3. Like that was the one that I would have been most excited to get on, despite the beginning looking really uncomfortable. I liked your high foot beta idea. That was really cool. I think it was your first try on the yellow, just to throw all the way up. But the finish move was just pretty wild. But boulder 3, how was that one for you?
Yeah, I had no clue what to think of boulder 3 when I was looking at it. I feel like in a 3-boulder finals round, there's usually going to be a slab and then a power one and then just something weird. And the third one was the weird one. And it's hard to know what to think of it until you start climbing it. But it was really cool. I think I got zone on my 4th try, and I ended up trying different beta every try, I think, until I got to the zone. And then once I figured it out, it wasn't too bad. And then I dropped the last move once, which also ended up not being too bad. Once I figured out I could go a little bit more statically, I could stand up higher on the foot and then go a little slower to the top instead of just full jump for it. So once I figured out that, it wasn't too bad, but weird to figure out.
Yeah, that was a good case of the test of 4 minutes being what a finals is actually really about, and the watching you progress on the climb within that 4 minutes was really cool. I enjoyed that.
I was watching the setting team run that climb, and as you said, it was weird and confusing. And I believe for them, it was weird and confusing. And they were just I don't know, they said it, and so it was awkward and uncomfortable. I believe looking at them forerun it, and that was the goal, was to put you in some questioning whether or not you were actually doing this correctly. And watching all of the male competitors across that one, you can see everyone just wasn't sure if this was the right move or not, as they're just moving through. And Simon's is a perfect example of just I'm going to try everything, and he did try everything. And I actually have to post a funny clip on that later on. But yeah, it was, you stuck with it, you worked through it, and then in all in that, repeat attempt, you actually close it out. And that was it. As you're going through that, you had an understanding that you were probably behind, because Simon flashed zone on 1. You did get zone on 2, and Simon didn't get zone on 2, if I'm not mistaken. And then you were well, I need to get at the top, right, in order to make this really count. And it put pressure on Simon. And was that going through your head at the time? Because I know,
yeah, for sure.
Even though you don't know what the score is, you can hear the crowd, right? And you can hear what the crowd's saying and what they're doing.
Yeah. So Simon trying number 3 was the only climb that I got to watch in person, since I didn't have to go back to ISO. And we were tied on the first 2 other than attempts. And then after that, it goes to attempts to top. And so I knew I topped, which means if Simon got a top in 5, he wins. Otherwise, I win. So I was just counting down the attempts each one. So I knew once he fell the 5th time that I won.
Yeah, and he actually didn't get zone, right? He couldn't.
No,
he
didn't get zone.
That was it was an awkward start. And I was like,
I
typically,
think he did get zoned.
did he?
I think he got zoned, but he was in a weird spot and he like couldn't stand up into it.
Okay, so that counted towards, yeah, because I remember him grabbing the zone hold, but I was like, was he actually using it, or was he just on the zone hold?
I think, yeah, they definitely gave it to him. Otherwise, I don't think he would have got second. So I think he did get
Oh,
zoned.
that's right, because Pierre would have gotten second, right?
Leo
Leo.
would have gotten second.
Yeah, Leo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he actually performed really well. He qualified, I think,
Yeah.
fifth, right? And then wound up getting on top of, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Nice.
Overall, I mean, a successful finals round. I think, kind of touching on what we had said before, for a three-boulder round, I think that they did kind of do a good job of checking the boxes of something powerful, something slabby, and something weird. And it did some decent separation by attempts, but still some decent separation for the podiums. Overall, pretty successful comp round, especially for you. Yeah, congrats on the W.
Yeah, thank you. I think it went really.
Yeah. Something that I noticed that I want to point out to comp organizers is how wobbly the podiums were, which when I was emceeing last weekend also happened. This is a consistent thing that I'm seeing at more and more comps, is not understanding that solid objects wiggle on pads.
Yeah.
So for any comp organizers, just find something stable or have them stand on level ground. Like, we can't keep putting our athletes on these.
Yeah,
Wow.
I stood up on the podium and I was like, oh gosh, it's not stable at all. And then they were like, all right, the women's podium, get up there too. And I was like, oh god,
Yeah,
it's gonna fall over for sure.
They're like,
It
this
was
is not stable enough. Let's get everyone on this. Yeah, that was crazy.
So if you'll indulge me for a second, I want to dive a little bit deeper into your process and your psyche for climbing. You know, you grew up competing. As it stands right now, like, you know, self-admitted, everything you do is climbing on a board, but you have interesting comps which more and more are let's say favoring styles that are not necessarily represented on board climbs. You can get a lot of paddle work in, you can get like your general power, but I think the current school of thought is, if you want to be a sport climber, you board climb and do your circuits on the spray wall. And if you want to be a comp climber, or, you know, a comp boulderer, you need to move to where there's a comp style gym and get your reps in on that. Where is your head at in terms of your competitive ambition and how much you feel you need to step outside of what you seem to be loving so much about climbing in order to meet your comp goals?
I think I'm still pretty interested in climbing. I just love everything about climbing. So like, I love boards, but I also love competing. I would hopefully move somewhere with a little bit more access to better comp training if I'm going to end up doing like USA climbing comps, or actually just got Canadian citizenship. So maybe try out for the Canadian team. That would be cool. But I think it would definitely be a little bit beneficial, at least, to train at like a bigger, more compy gym. But I think the boards are pretty good too, especially for just like that burly power style I've gotten pretty good at.
Yeah, you got to get yourself to Montreal. That's where it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. How's that drive to Montreal from where you are? Yeah,
It's probably like,
it's probably like
20 to 30 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we just had a Betabreak with Matt Rodriguez, and like Montreal's a hotspot, but like really in Canada, it is very like condensed when you like Montreal and then like Vancouver, and anything in between is just, you know, barren wasteland.
Yeah.
Yes. And like, and actually, I know you've done some outdoor climbing. You said, I think B15 outdoors.
Yep.
Yeah, and like, but that wasn't anywhere in your area, right?
Yeah, so that one was in Colorado. I think Clear Creek Canyon.
Okay, yeah,
Wherever that
Clear Creek Canyon.
I don't really know where in Colorado it is.
Yeah, and then like you had mentioned outdoor being something that you love, and I don't believe there's any good outdoor climbing anywhere where you are right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think the closest area that I'd call like good is probably either Horseshoe in Arkansas or what's it called? Somewhere in southern Illinois, Holy Boulders. They're both like 8 hours away, 8-hour drive, so nothing close.
Not exactly a day trip.
Yeah. That's, I was thinking, it's like that's where those boards really come in handy. Like when it comes to really just and he didn't do the trip, right? So like you get on the boards and you pull, because like to go from not having any solid outdoor climbing around you to then like taking your trip. And how long did it take you to send that B15? Like, I'm sure it wasn't like 3 weeks in Colorado.
Yeah, it was. There's a V14 stand start, and I did that in a day, like 6 months ago, or 6 months before I did the 15, and then I came back for a week long trip for the 15, and I did that in 3 more sessions, so 4 days total.
Yeah. So
For people who is there video online? Excuse my lack of research.
Yeah,
Is there
no,
video
no,
online
yeah,
for people who want to check it out?
It's on my YouTube actually. It's like a 16-minute video of my whole Colorado trip, and it features some other boulders in Colorado too.
link in the
So,
description.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's some extra work for Vaseem. But yeah, like your online climbing presence. Yeah, there's like people that I, let's call it like research, because we're gonna talk to them. But then like I just know of you from watching Board Lords, or like from seeing you on, I believe it was Test Piece that you were on.
The Nugget.
Nugget. Yep.
Yep.
It's the two syllables that get me.
It was a
When you
while
were on
ago.
the Nugget, like I listened to that episode a while back, and so I think something that I really appreciate about your online presence in climbing is that you're really open about how psyched you are. It's like you
Yeah,
follow the
yeah.
thing that you're excited about. Like you can tell how much you love climbing on the board, and the something that we hear from a lot of people is like, yeah, like I'm grinding on the things that I need to grind on to be successful, and like whether or not they enjoy that style. And it sounds like you really follow your psyche.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that, is that something that just kind of like naturally happened? Like you just have always followed your psyche, or was that like something that you had to learn coming out of USA climbing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I kind of always just followed that. There's actually Simon used to be my old coach, and so there's one time I don't really take rest days a lot. I do more now, but I was like 2 months on of climbing every single day, and then at some point Simon figured that out, and he was like, "Dude, what are you take a rest day?" I was like, "I don't really want to." And I just kept climbing. So he didn't like that, but that was funny. But I kind of just always followed my psyche like that. And I don't know if it would work for everyone as well, but I think that's kind of maybe the biggest reason I've gotten so good is that I have never really felt burned out at all. I just always want to go climb and like try hard, and it's really fun. So I think that's a big reason I've gotten really good.
Yeah, and there's like zero strategy in his game. Like, so the red
Yeah.
climb, like he was solidly in second place, tied for second with Pierre, right? It was for Final Frontier. And everyone else is like, packed up and grabbing lunch, and but he's still grinding on this one climb that no one's gotten because he wants to get it. And it's like, you got a finals round coming up later, but you are definitely in right now. And I was like, he's on it, like he's going for it. And then unfortunately never got. Did you ever come back and then send that, or?
No, I wish I had more time, but I got back that night at like 1 a.m. So I didn't really want to stay any later than that, but I wish I could have tried it more. It was a really cool climb.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And it was cool watching you, like, and I knew like you were clearly in finals, and I'm like, he's just going for it, right? And it wasn't like, oh, I want to be in first. Like he just wanted to just get that climb, and just so psyched for a really cool climb, which is, Simon would have been like, there's the strategy in that is awful, right? You're in, just go and sit down and rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can hear the conversation
Simon,
with you right now.
Simon actually turned in his scorecard like an hour early, and
Yeah.
he'd never even tried the red one.
Yeah. He was like, I'm in, like, and you're like, no, we're here to climb. Let's climb. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I'm
and
sure
then-
was a good strategy for him. I
Right.
just wanted to try the red.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun. I would put myself on the Simon side there. Like the thing that I get really psyched on is how do I strategize? How do I execute? How do I like put myself in the best competitive position possible? But I think that has often come at the detriment of like exploring the things that excite me in the sport, like forcing myself to spend a bunch of time on the slab, and that I don't like climbing because it's always uncomfortable and it doesn't go well for me, because I feel like it's what I should be doing rather than just going and doing a campusing session because I like campusing. I think there's a ton of space for both, and to your point, if there's no burnout because you're always following what you're doing, you're ultimately getting in so many reps that it kind of doesn't matter. On that note of climbing 2 months on, or being pretty sparing with rest days, I'm glad that you said that it probably wouldn't work for everybody, because I think the majority of people would be pretty injured.
Yeah, that part for sure will not work for most people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
How do you think you managed to to be 2 months on? Like, is there something, like, is there magic behind not getting injured? Do you have some secret recovery protocol? How do you manage your skin? Like, how does that work logistically?
I have no idea. Somehow my fingers are just strong enough, or like my tendons are strong enough that they don't get injured, I guess. I've never really had a serious injury. I guess I've had some really minor tweaks and I've just taken like a couple days off and then I'm back to normal. But yeah, my skin's never really been a problem either. Just like thin wise, like it repairs really quickly. So I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of able to do that. Just genetics, I guess. I
It's
think.
just kind of Wolverine. Like,
I have no idea.
Yeah,
that's
like,
awesome.
being behind the camera and looking at so many finals climbers going through and pulling on fiberglass, you are one of the climbers that when you miss a hold doesn't look at your hands. Like you don't give it that examination. You're not even concerned about what that might have done or friction. And I do notice that, like, there were every climber like looks, and it was like something so delicate into whatever friction, skin, tape, whatever. You're just like, all right, well, let's try again and chalk up and get back on it after grinding throughout the entire qualifying round. So yeah, it's a blessing to be able to not have to think about skin being an issue, pulling on all that fiberglass, because an entire round was all fiberglass, which is
Yeah. I will say I think I took 2 rest days for this comp, which I actually don't normally do. And so my skin actually ended up being really good for it.
there you go.
So it was thicker than normal. Occasionally I'll have like pretty thin skin that I'm more worried about, and then I'll probably give it a look when I like dry fire on some fiberglass. But yeah, normally I don't think it's as much of a problem as most people have it.
When I think about somebody who climbs every day for 2 months, I don't think of what else they have going on. I'm just curious what your rest day activities are. Like, what do you keep yourself busy with when you're not climbing for 4 hours on the board every day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in school, so I have like school to do and some homework. Scroll out of TikTok. Scroll too much TikTok, probably. I play a lot of Word Hunt. I don't know if you guys have heard of, Boggle?
Oh yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like Boggle, but on your phone. And so it's like ranked. There's like an elo system. I have like, I think I have like 7,000 wins or something. I play that a lot.
This is something that I have always noticed amongst high level climbers. Bryce Viola, who I've known for a long time, he this is like pre-smartphones. He would be like, session for 8 hours, but every like 40 to 50 minutes, he would come to the front desk at the gym and like play some flash game that he was psyched on back in like 2012. This is a consistent thing amongst high level climbers, is all of y'all get psyched on some sort of app game that you get
just the
competitively.
most random niche thing.
Like chess or like or Word Hunt or something like that. All of you guys have that similar like grinding a game for the love of it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So something else that I've picked up about you is that you are a caffeine connoisseur. In your Board Lord episode, you said you were 3 monsters deep. I spied the gorilla mind. Yep. I'm in recovery from my caffeine addiction, just a little bit of pre-workout in the morning and nothing else. If you had to rank your energy drinks, like if you're gonna go a Mount Rushmore of caffeine, what's on there for you? Top 4.
You want like brands or specific flavors?
Like whatever comes to mind. Like
Yeah.
I guess like if you want multiple Monster flavors on there, go for it.
Okay, perfect. I don't like Monster. Monster is not. I have a big sweet tooth, so Monster is not really sweet enough, I don't think.
Okay.
To be fair, I only have the 0 sugar versions, so maybe that's. But Mount Rushmore for me, I'd say Swedish Fish Ghost is number 1. It's just so sweet. It's amazing.
The only one that's too sweet for me. It's
so
that's
good.
like exactly my limit where I'm like, oh.
I think the only thing that comes close to that is a cherry candy bucked up. That one's also
okay.
really good. If I want something like not so in your face, an iced tea lemonade Ghost.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yep.
Last one. Maybe I'd probably say this. White Gummy Bear Gorilla Mind.
There you go.
Folks, this guy knows ball.
Right.
This is like,
Not his first rodeo for sure.
that's like, you had a deep cut with the iced tea lemonade, the bucked
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
which is like not a top 3 on most people's list. Like, this guy knows ball.
Yeah,
The,
cherry candy bucked up specifically is
Yeah.
amazing.
That's a deep cut. That's sick. Yeah, Ghost is putting out some great stuff. Gorilla Mind is putting out some great stuff. That was my like X Factor question. I was so curious,
And as we talk about that, I know just recently you posted on Insta about how you changed your eating habits to a more healthy-minded approach. Would you like to talk about that as we, after pounding down a whole bunch of sugar and caffeine?
They're sugar free.
Yeah.
Hang on, they're 0 calories.
Yeah, they're sugar free.
Yeah.
I'll never touch a full sugar energy drink.
Fair. That's true.
But yeah, like a few years ago, my diet was just kind of eat whatever I want. I would eat in the dining halls at Iowa State.
Mhm.
So I would kind of just eat like a bunch of donuts and chips and everything. And I wouldn't get very much protein in either. So then I just like changed that completely because I wanted to see, I was sure that it had to have had some positive effect on my climbing, but I didn't know like how much. So I tried it and then I got like way, way stronger. Honestly, probably like a couple grade difference. Like it was kind of crazy. Yeah, now I feel way stronger.
I'm sure there are other things as well that you were tweaking because you were making that mindset and then tracking progress, right? So, but yeah, it's an interesting little correlation there.
Yeah. In the interest of time, I want to get to the last thing, which is always, what do you have coming up? Do you have more comps on the horizon? Do you have any trips coming up? Anything that you're really psyched on at the moment?
Ooh, I guess a weird one. I don't have any outdoor trips or comps that I guess I have the other 2 comps in the same like Midwest Boulder series as the first year.
Yeah.
But there's this thing I'm psyched on right now. There's this bridge right next to my house. It's like a 2-minute drive away from my house. And on the bottom of it, there's this crazy compression boulder that the friction is just terrible because there's paint all over the sides. I found another bridge like this like a year ago, but it didn't top out and it kind of sucked. But this one actually tops out. And I think the jump start, which I'm trying now, is probably like V13 or 14. And then there's a low start where you do like the whole bridge and it's got to be at least V16. It's crazy. But I'm vlogging it all and I want to make a YouTube video of it. I'm really excited for it.
What's the landing?
The landing is completely flat. At the end of it, it's like a little tall, but I have enough pads that it's like fine.
Okay.
Because it's like 10 feet off this bike path. And
Okay.
like there's so many people that like walk right past me. So I get to there's some funny characters that just like stare at me. They're like, what is this guy doing?
I believe they think you're the funny character that's
Yeah.
breaks up the bridge.
I mean, he is the person climbing the bridge while
Right.
everybody
Yeah,
else is
no,
like walking on
I'm
it.
definitely the weird one, but
Yeah.
they have no clue what I'm doing.
And they're like, what are you doing? And you're like, have you tried Peach Monster? It's really good. Dude, that's sick. I can't wait for that video. That's going to be fun.
It's
Yeah.
really, really
Keep an
cool.
eye out. As we wrap up, because we're wrapping up, just some sponsors. I know you have some sponsors, and I believe you're actually wearing some swag from one of your sponsors. Like, who's supporting?
Yeah, this actually isn't a sponsor, but I'll shout them out because they're a sick brand.
Okay.
Goodfall
Okay,
is they don't sponsor me, but they just make cool clothes. So
nice.
check them out. And then as far as my sponsorship goes, I'm sponsored by Kawa, a clothing company
Mhm.
who makes some really cool stuff. They're known for their pants, but I like their shirts a lot too. And then Reelinge protein powder sponsors me as well. They make really nice protein powder, and they're kind of like they focus on like more clean ingredients. So I like make a smoothie every day and I just put a scoop of that in there and it's really good.
We'll definitely make sure to shout them out as we go on.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, folks, check out Sean's YouTube channel that we'll link in the description. Check out Instagram as well, I believe. Is your TikTok popping off or?
I posted on TikTok for like 3 days and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
All right, well then challenge him on Word Hunter. See,
Yeah, download Flux. That's the word hunt app I play on.
Flux.
I'll play. We can create a room.
Yeah, wait, that's sick. Yeah, check links in the description.
There we go. Find it,
Yeah. Sean, thank you for coming on. Thanks for talking with us. Congrats again on a nice W at the Final Frontier. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you after the next podium.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, sir. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.